I'm super excited to have these fantastic women on the show tonight for a topic that I think is very important about supporting each other and self empowerment and different tools that we can use to help heal ourselves and if we're skilled enough, be able to um, help with our family members and friends and so forth. So I'm not going to speak too much. I'd like to, for all of you ladies to take time to introduce yourself for our listeners. Miss Gemma, we'll start with you, please.
Ida, it's lovely to be here with you again, and this time with Georgia, beautiful Georgia, and meeting Salini, wonderful. Katie, thanks for your work. And um, so, last time we talked about me being an ex-nurse of many decades and specialising in acute care, and then moving into fitness and health, being a fitness leader because that I felt to empower. That's what we're talking about today. Empower people more to stay well and not end up in the hospital in ICU, which is where I was working. So I've done lots of healing modalities, and I'm just got my new text to do yoga. I have done some yoga study, but not the 200-hour Yoga Alliance course, which I'm so excited about at this delicate age. It's never too late for anything. So I'm doing that, but I'm also an artist, and I love all types of different media with art and things like that. So it's lovely to be here to talk about ways to empower ourselves and to stay in an equilibrium as we move through this passage and to help others around us. And just before I pass on to Georgia, I'd just like to just really anchor in that energy of the highest frequency for our little meeting, with just coming to our hearts and acknowledging that we have chosen to be here and are just more than sparks of divine creator, that we are divine beings of light and love and light. And so we're just going to breathe in deeply and exhaling and feeling ourselves in the light and the love and the golden white crystalline energy spreading from our hearts out, and feeling ourselves in the pillar from source down through our hearts to Gaia's heart. And so we're intending for this conversation to be really in the highest frequency and the most expanded consciousness and the most heart-centered to assist ourselves and everyone.
That was
beautiful.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Gemma, thank you.
Thank you, Ida.
Miss Georgia.
My name's Georgia Cammann, and I'm happy to be here again with Ida. I really appreciate the opportunity. She's done a great job of trying to bring people together. And this was a topic that I thought was really important that we're covering today about empowerment, because it covers so many aspects, not just only for ourselves, but how we empower others, because everything we do radiates out to them. I have been doing energy work for 20 years now. I've been actively involved in it, trained in it early on, Reiki master. There's been so many modalities I've trained in. I finally, at one point, my higher self said, just get out there and do it. So I incorporate all of it in, everything I know, and I incorporate it in the way that works best for me. And many times that takes me with clients I work with to the emotional. I'm always looking at the emotional. I'm a strong empath, and that's where a lot of my energy focus is on feeling what I'm feeling and reading off of people. So thank you for being here, and I look forward to hearing what comes up, and some of the tools. I'm sure I use them all the time. I don't think there's a one of us at this point in this whole stage of this awakening that we're in the middle of, that don't have moments where we have to stop and get ourselves grounded and empowered, and really get a good solid view of who we are at our core as well. So thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to participating in the roundtable.
I appreciate you. Thank you, Georgia. Miss Salini, welcome.
Well, hello, everybody, and thank you for inviting me, Ida, and good to meet you, ladies.
You too.
Yeah, well, this is a powerful gathering. Wherever there are goddesses gathered together, we bring the energy of divine feminine into the quantum field. So it's a perfect topic, energetic tools, because that's what we are as divine feminine leaders going to be bringing to this world at this time. I am a Reiki master. I'm an author of Emerging from the Matrix, Healing Human Trauma and Ending Global Enslavement. I have a show, Beyond the Matrix with Salini, and I have a private practice where I work with people I do a lot of trauma healing and a lot of soul transformation is what I call it. And shamanic healing. I take people on past life regression, soul retrievals. And I developed these skills as a process of healing myself. I am a survivor of MK Ultra, mind control, and trauma-based sex slavery. And I was sold into slavery by my father in the Masons when I was a child. So as a result of that experience, and then fortunately, my mother was a healer, and she taught me to heal. And then she brought the Grand Master of Reiki, Hawaii Takata, to our home, where she lived with us for a long time. And I was mentored by her for 20 years. So this combination of the dark and the light made it possible for me to learn how to heal with the goddess side, to heal the dark side, my father, who was lost in his own abuse. So I consider it an honor and a blessing and a gift that I went through the trauma, because it completely initiated and trained me into what it is that I now do, which is help people move through their trauma. I do sacred alchemy, transformation, spiritual cocooning, all of the stuff needed for us to move the energy from dark to light. So that's who I am in this lifetime, anyway.
Thank you, Salini.
Yeah.
That was lovely. Thank you. I appreciate you being so transparent and forward with us. I think that's so important. Thank you, all of you ladies. I've been waiting for weeks. I was so happy, and thank you, Salini decided to join us at last minute, and I was very grateful to have her come on, because I knew that this would be a great energetic collaboration of powerful souls to come together and have this discussion. So Gemma, do you want to lead with, yeah, please go ahead.
Well, I feel what I try to do, well, let me just say in transparency, I was meant to talk with you last week, but I have to be honest and say that I took the time myself and asked for a postponement, because I had to attend to recalibrating then because of the stress I was feeling. And that was triggered by, which I think a lot of us are feeling most intensely, family. Our families, our beloveds that we, just care so much for. And we're seeing them have a different set of stressors and triggers than the ones we're having, because we're all in this together. Yes, we are. But there's a difference in the ones who have not are not seeing with such clarity, but are following the narrative and the 3D matrix line, are having a different set of stress than us, and so our sort of stress as healers and awakening spiritual holders of the vibrational frequency is that we are stressed by their stress and by the things, the choices that we are feeling are harmful to them, like participating in medical experiments, or wearing things across the face, or being coming back into fear again with the new narrative that's coming now with, war. So it's a play out of different stressors being loaded on everyone, but our observational perspective brings a different kind of stress. And I know that you all know what I'm talking about there. So, but we still have to use all the same tools. So all the same sort of tools, and so in addressing that, what's becoming very well known as mass formation psychosis, where there's this sort of lack of social connection, and a lack of meaning in purpose in life. What eudaimonia, who was the I think it was Aristotle, talked about this, finding pleasure in purpose, and that is being missed from a lot of our lives. Even those of us on the spiritual path who've been very prepared for this, and then come into this, and it's a shock again. It's such a shock to see what's happening and to feel what's happening and to tap into the energies. And then there's that sort of free-floating anxiety. These are the sort of 4 components of what Professor Matthias Desmet has identified in that mass formation psychosis. And we know it as, the 3D matrix or the hypnotic amnesia. But the other thing is just this frustration and aggression that comes up. And so, addressing all of those things, I think we have to come back into our bodies and really do that somatic work. Is my main thing that works best for me. So getting immersion in the water, getting on the earth, bare feet, getting in nature, and I know that we have so many tools, but those are the ones that work best for me. And if I'm unable, like in a real, which I have to be honest, last week I was with a family triggering situation, which was to do with what's going on, less about the Ukraine and more about the other narrative that we're suddenly is off the front pages. Isn't that interesting? And more about the other one. And normally I try and, we stay in this objective sort of divinely neutral, trying to cultivate that. But I was triggered, really double triggered really quickly on the same morning. And I didn't stay in a kind of graceful moment that I normally try to hold. And it took me, and talking about that, self-inquiry and introspection, I had to go into a little mini dark night for a few days to equalize back and recalibrate. So I certainly don't sit in a kind of, even though I intend towards mastery, I don't sit in it and say that is me, because I'm being triggered and having challenges. And so I just commend and honour everyone on Mother Earth right now for how they are doing whatever they're doing, the strategies that they're employing, and the way that they're traversing through their life, regardless of whether they're in that really fast accelerated awakening or not. I just honour everyone, because it's really, really, we're right in the middle of that sort of 20-year period that so many of our way showers talked about between 2012, 2032. We're just right in the crux of it. So,
yes, we are.
Yeah.
Do you want to speak to that, Georgia or Salini? Anybody have a response to that? I mean, I could speak. I won't. I'm really gonna fall back for a little bit, and then I'll chime
One
in.
thing I wanted to say, when Gemma mentioned purpose, knowing your purpose, there isn't one of us that hasn't sat here at some point in our life wondering what our purpose is. It's such an overriding need to know something like that. We're born with it, almost, that wanting to know who we are, and that's part of our empowerment. And Salini telling a little bit of her story, that I heard before we went on, and knowing it, this is an excellent opportunity, an example of no matter what we go through, the woundings we have, the experiences we have in our life, those are not who we are. Our illnesses are not who we are. And it's easy when you're sequestered away like we've been for the last 2 years globally, to forget that's the first step to empowering ourselves, is to get to see who we authentically are, to recognize that in ourselves. And once we start to recognize it, it starts to create a chain reaction energetically, and the frequencies shift and change with it. And we start to understand that our authentic selves is what we need to be doing more than anything right now. They're putting fear and they're putting guilt out there on a constant basis, the two frequencies that keep us held down continually. We have to step out of that and recognize who we are. And then the work I do, I recognize that in others. For some reason, that's part of why I'm here, is to help introduce other people to themselves, to hold up a vision for them to see of who they are, so they can rise up to it. Because a lot of times they don't see it. We all get reminders of that from each other in these communities. I mean, I know I get that from my friends and teachers and things like that too. So I think that right now is so important. I was laying in bed the other night thinking, not unlike a lot of other people I know right now, thinking, what's my next step here? What now is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing moving forward as we're breaking down the old and creating the new? And I thought, what brings me true joy and passion? And I thought, I haven't been feeling it lately for quite a while. I've kind of lost touch with that. And lo and behold, I went into meditation and I said, please show me, please reintroduce me to my passion. And I literally was driving on some errands and I passed by a place to get my oil changed in my car. And I thought, I'll just run in there and do it. There happened to be a young guy in there that was working, that he reminded me of a young man I knew years ago, because I work with young starseeds a lot. For years I've worked with young people, and I just have a strong attachment to young starseeds. And he came in and he didn't have a mask on, and I said, it's so great to see your face, because I live in a dense area here in Seattle and you don't see anybody without a mask. And he kind of lit up and he tried to give me the old, yeah, well, it's getting safer now. I said, well, I'm sorry. I think it's bullshit. The whole thing's bullshit. And he looked at me and he smiled, and we got into a conversation. And the more we talked, pretty soon he was quoting Rumi. He was quoting, this, he had done a lot of reading and studying. Wow. I realized there was so much more to him, and I recognized it. And I wasn't trying to feed him a line or puff him up. It was coming from an authentic place. Authenticity is really what it's all about. But by the time I got done, he couldn't do enough for me. I mean, he was checking my tires, and he had, doing these other extra things. And I'm like, thanks, that's so nice of you, but I really, really need to go. But I just saw it. It reminded me, it reconnected me. I just left there and went, thank you. That reminded me of the passion I have for working with others, especially young people all over the world. I've worked with them in other countries. I mentor a young man in Uganda. I get a lot of joy from that. So when you're looking for something like that, you're feeling like you don't know where you belong anymore. That's, you start with yourself and you find your passion, and then you in turn ignite that in somebody else. And just by the way you speak to them, by being authentically yourself, it gives people the permission to open up and trust themselves. So, yeah.
Oh, Georgia, that's lovely. Well,
yeah.
I'm gonna wait for Salini and then I'll take my
Yeah.
turn and we'll go back around again. Salini, please share with us.
Okay, well, I love that story, Georgia, and I want to piggyback on that because one of the problems that happens at this time is the feeling of isolation and not being heard and not being understood, especially since I'm a truther and I get persecuted for that in social media. So I wanted to change my background, and I'm going to do that right now to show everybody what's really going on is that we live in a quantum field where we're interconnected and we're all connected by love. So they want us to be separate. They want us to forget that we're connected. They want us to forget that love is what connects us. But in reality, we're living in this flower of life, and this is the energy field of the earth. And there's nothing they can do to stop it except convince us that it stopped. You know, I mean, I shouldn't say nothing. I mean, they do a lot of things because I am a victim of mind control. Everybody is, by the way. And once your mind gets controlled by these electronic energy waves and stuff, then they can effect change into your body. And then now they've managed to talk people into getting the, you know what, and that affects change. But otherwise, if we stay strong in our intention and our conviction and stay connected to each other, we can bolster each other up with truth and with love and with light and with healing. And I think it's really important. Like I find like when I have talks like this with ladies like you, I feel better. Like you talk to the guy at the oil change shop, you know, I mean, it can be anybody anywhere. And, you know, it happens wherever it happens. And you asked for it. You said, you know, God, please reconnect me here somewhere. And it happened just like that. So, you know, we have the power to create what we really want. And we have to you have to master your thoughts and your intention, because that's really what brings to you the positive experiences. And right now we're walking through the tunnel of darkness, but we can create the 100th monkey. We can create the wave of light by having all of us connected in such power that we push away the dark and we alchemize the dark into the light. If we have these kinds of meetings and have these kinds of shows. And I think it's very important that we're doing this. And I guess, is it live on Facebook?
It is live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and it will be uploaded to Soma Fusion, which and my, you know, I've got like 300 subscribers, but I'm okay with that. Like I said, if I reach one person, I'm happy. And if it grows, anybody that's watching, please do subscribe. I intend to continue to have shows like this, and I hope that these women, I trust you guys will come back, you ladies will come back on. We'll continue to have these conversations. Yes,
well, what I wanted to say about that is that, you know, as of this week, I found out that I won't say all their names and everything, but that they're going to crack down on the truthers. And I was just blocked simultaneously day before yesterday on the YT channel and on the FB here. And you know, they're watching us, and because they're losing. And so it's ever more important for us to remain steadfast in the light, in the truth, and in connecting to each other and to holding the energy. You know, we don't need to engage in war, although I do have Jedi warriorship on my website. I teach people how to alchemize energy back into the light when they come at you, because I've been through it all, let me tell you. I fought every demon you could fight. And so I do have a program for that, but we don't really need to. You reach a certain vibration, you don't need to do that. And you hold that vibration, and all of us more, you know, as Jesus said, where one or more of you are gathered in my name, there I am also. So we can just continue to call on the masters, to call on the power, to hold our intention and to keep the energy vibration really high, and they can't get us. And that's going to ride us through this tunnel that we're in right now. It's going to end for all of you listeners out there, her listeners, Ida's listeners, it is going to end. But we're entering into the hard part right now, the war part and all that. You know, it's just the next fake thing that they're setting up to freak us all out. And we're not that there isn't really something going on, but it's going on for the right reasons. It's going on to dismantle what needs to be dismantled. In the meantime, we need to anchor the light. And as far as individually, you were asking about energetic tools. You know, I teach my clients Reiki. I teach them how to self-heal, to cleanse themselves. Like today, I took a long salt bath and meditated while I was doing that. Going out in nature, doing things that bring the goddess in, because the goddess is what's healing us right now, the goddess energy, the sacred feminine. So you really want to continually call upon her and honor her, and like do ceremonies. Like I'm going to start doing ceremonies every morning. I do pujas on my website. I'm a devotee of the Holy Mother Amachi. She named me Salini, and now I'm learning how to do all the pujas. The ceremonial rituals are so powerful for keeping us free of their control. So I do pujas. I'm going to start doing a goddess puja every morning and put it outside my door so that we're protected. So these are just some of the tools that I do, Ida. I mean, I could say a whole lot more, but that's the first answer to the first question.
You're amazing. All of you ladies are amazing. Well, I'm listening to you, and I have a couple little things going on around here, and I definitely have energetic tools that I use and crystals and so forth, but I'm not huge on them. I just, when I feel called to it, I'll walk, I have a ritual that I do just to wake myself up and get ready, to start a new day. When I put my feet on the ground, I say, today's going to be a fantastic day, and I intend to invite everything that is for my highest good into my world, into my hologram. And I always ask to be blessed, help me to have eyes to see, ears to hear, and a heart that knows. And I ask my hands to be blessed so that I can bless others. And so I don't have official, I do ionic detoxes for people, and it seems to work well, and I'm able to massage, and I've gotten great results for people just by sending loving intentions, not necessarily Reiki. If I'm doing that, I don't know that that's, I'm not I have not been trained in Reiki, although I know that when I hug somebody, they feel it. And I know when I look into the eyes of somebody, they know I'm coming from a pure heart. And I felt that, you're talking about bringing joy and our passion and so forth, because I felt the same thing. I'm like, what the heck am I doing? I started writing a book. I had 200 book pages, a cover done. And Salini, well, all of you ladies are aware of a little bit about my story and, being targeted and all the things that I went through, which I don't need to get into again now. One day, maybe I will share that story on a much bigger, but I introduced Salini to some of my family members, and they got excited meeting her because how excited I was to say she helped me and she's capable of, doing energetic healing as we're talking about this. I mean, I'm not trying to harp on, but I can only speak to her because I've actually had a session with her. So I know she's the real deal. And I'll tell you guys, when all that stuff was going on, when I was contacting SP and back in the day, y'all know who I'm talking about. I don't want to say any names. And I came across Salini, I think 2013 or 14, and she was able to do a session on me. And I was laying into bed at 1 o'clock in the morning. I felt this roll of energy roll up and down my body. And I'm like, I mean, you talk about, and only reason I didn't freak out is because I knew I had just paid her for the session. And she even said to me, I don't know, honey, when I'm going to be able to get to you, but I'll get you done. I'll get it taken. And it was like a day or two later. And the next day she texted me, she said, I just want you to know I worked on you last night. I was like, I know, because I felt it. It was pretty amazing. And
I work with the big guns. The big guns come when I call them.
Yeah. And she was in California and I was in Maryland. So pretty amazing. But anyways, but I feel like I've been doing my work my whole life. I mean, I've extended myself and, to people. I mean, I would give my school clothes away and my brand new gold earrings for Christmas, to my friends. Like I'm always been a giver. That's just the way I am. And as an adult now, and after going through everything that I went through in my own dark night of the soul and healing and having to look at, realizing that there was no one else to blame anymore, that I had to take full responsibility for myself, that was self-empowerment. That was saying, okay, it was almost liberating, not almost, it was liberating to say, okay, there's nobody else to blame anymore. I don't have to put my focus on anybody else, and I can take responsibility. That doesn't condone behaviors, people that are doing nonsense, right? But I just don't invite it in my field anymore, and I have not had issues since. You know, I don't intend to be hurtful or harmful to other people, therefore I don't invite it. And when I feel that, because I do sometimes, you know, jealousy and envy is a hell of a thing. And I've just never really been one to hold those. I'm not saying I've never been jealous. I'm not saying I've never been envious, but very next than never am I that way. And it, you know, and it was in my younger days for sure. You know, if I think back and I really dig into those, you know, memories of feeling less than and not having enough and maybe be, but that's not where I operate from now for sure. And but I've felt that from other people. And Gemma, you brought up about families. I will tell you, I'm really going through a little bit of a tough time right now with my family because I'm ready to walk away. I mean that, and I love my family, but I am ready to walk away in a big way. I feel like there's something huge for me. I don't just feel it; I know it in my heart, and I've gotten to the point where I accept it's not abandoning them or running away or any of that. It's being spiritually mature, emotionally mature enough to say, I know when I need to let go, that there's nothing more I can do for them. I've shared everything I can to the point of, you know, where there's been a lot of resistance from my family. And I'm not saying that the things I've shared with them have been in the best, most loving way, because I too was going through, you know, my own triggering and awakening and trying to convey to them what I was experiencing, to be mocked and teased and all the things. And I just don't have to, I don't care to prove anything to anybody anymore. I realized that I was trying to prove something that can't be proven. It
Yes.
must be experienced. It must be
That's part of
experienced.
mastery.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
the bottom line. It has to, people have to experience it. They have to have their own awakening.
Yeah,
sure. And
absolutely.
so, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Anyways, go ahead. I'm not going to keep going. That's just,
Yeah,
you know,
no.
so I'm ready for you know, a whole, I
It's-
know I'm moving into a new chapter in my life, and I'm looking forward to it, quite frankly.
Well, you're describing an initiation, and you know, our personal battles and struggles right now take us toward this initiation phase, which, and because and our families are that beautiful mirror and reflector, and the ones who chose to come here with us to enable us to come to this place. And it looks and feels a bit lonely then when you move into that and accept that initiation, because there is no point, as you just described, resisting and sort of fighting and demanding that people see things. And we would have all experienced the kind of pushback and the that happens when, you know, and there is no point to it, like Salini was saying, and Georgia, everyone has their own awakening timeline, frame, triggers. But for us now, accepting that this is a dark night passage within a dark night global passage, but the initiation of coming, because it's to teach us really more empowerment, more self-empowerment, more reliance on our own individual amazing power, amazingness to be resilient. And that word's been a little bit overused by the old matrix to make people, I won't go into it too much, but that resilience factor, yes, for us with discipline. And like you then move into that next layer of kind of, you've described it, responsibility, but discipline in the way that, as Georgia and Salini were describing too, and you getting out of bed each morning and before you even get out, calling yourself back in from wherever we've been, you know, doing the work. And some are still doing astral work, that's heavy, and so, to other places for learning, and our soul homes. And so coming right into the body and having what I try to teach and show and be is that somatic experience of we've chosen to be here. So be in the body. And I bring it down because all these healing modalities that we do, I do quantum healing, hypnotherapy, and past life and theta, and all of those things, and as everyone does here. But what I find, and I'm finding, is that folks just need to come back to their bodies before they can. You can't sort of get into a meditative state if your sympathetic nervous system is on override and you're over adrenalized, hyper vigilant. And so what I'm focusing on lately is that parasympathetic nervous system stimulation and vagal tone, that big nerve that comes from the back of the ear right down through so it innervates the whole face and neck, mouth. It interacts with all of. It's called vagus because in the Latin that means meandering. So it goes everywhere, not down to the legs, but for women right down to the uterus. And so really anchoring in that divine feminine womb space, and all of the things that stimulate the vagus nerve are really simple things like humming and resonating in the chest and using the throat. So all of the, or gargling, it sounds funny, but tapping, patting, bringing the somatic experience to the body so that the nervous system can calm down and release oxytocin. And yeah,
I've been doing a little bit of I've been doing a little just, I love you, you're safe. I got, just if I need it, I do it. If I feel like I need to thank you for that, Gemma.
Yeah. Well, it's when you're
yes, thank
about
you.
Yeah, I think I feel that so many people are in such disorder and stress right now that saying to them, "Oh, here's a meditation," is not quite going to work, because to get in a meditative state, you already have to be responsible and disciplined enough to and you can calm yourself with it if you've been practicing for a while. But people who are just waking up now, coming into an awakening phase, you're initiating Ida into that more alone phase. But people will be coming to you, and you will be, sharing all of that empowerment just by being around people with what you learn in that that aloneness, because you're not alone, as Salini described and shows that beautiful flower of life, with Mother Earth Gaia. We're all interconnected in the quantum entanglement, superposition, string, and crystalline energy. Well done you for coming into this this gnosis of that you have to sort of just step away a little and allow everyone to do their thing without trying to convince anything of anyone.
And that's hard. It's really hard to do, isn't it? And especially as a mother. I was very concerned about my two daughters, whether or not they would make the right choice regarding the pokey poke, and thank goodness they have. But you can't make a person see, how dangerous something like that is when they've been indoctrinated by big pharma for more than 100 years. And most of us all thought that we could trust those people. And being that one of my children is suffered some damage from her early jabs, I fortunately decided to research it. And so by the time this came around, I'm already a holistic practitioner and a healer of many different modalities. So, and then but everybody else around me, all of my friends and families are the other way. And they even to the point where they don't want me anywhere near them. I'm not allowed in their houses. Like, my very best friend that since the day we were born, I wasn't allowed to see her before I moved away or to come close to her family or anything. And then one of my friends passed away and her family said, you're contaminated. We don't want you to come to the funeral and things like that, you know, those are very, very painful. But when you rise to a higher consciousness, you realize that they haven't had their awakening. You know, I mean, I've had an awakening, and it's like I live in a high vibrational energy field that's like I don't get sick. I mean, I've healed myself of so many things, cancer and viral meningitis and typhoid fever and stuff like that, that I don't get those kinds of illnesses. I'm not even worried about it. I don't carry it or anything. So it has so much to do with their consciousness of whether or not they're going to get sick and whether or not they're going to fall prey to mental and energetic enslavement. And I won't allow myself to be energetically or mentally enslaved. So when people come into my energy field, they actually get free. And so, you know, what you're saying, Gemma, is really right on, that these are initiations, Ida, that you're going through, you know, the initiation of me being exiled once again, like I have been since childhood by now, all of my friends. So then I moved to Florida and it's all new friends and they're not isolating me like Ida. So, you know, the universe moved me to a better place and better things are happening. And when you follow the energy patterns of your true self, you're going to find a true life. And we have to be brave enough to do that right now as we go through this tunnel. And it's a birth canal. It's a rebirth of this planet into the Aquarian age. And so I tell people not to be afraid, don't fall prey to fear, and don't fall prey to lies. And this is about discernment, and to consistently check in with your inner self, meditate regularly. And it's really important to navigate what we're going to have to navigate, because then the next step is we're going to have to self-sustain when there's not enough food and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, if you don't get right with yourself and get yourself in balance and alignment, it's going to be that much harder. But there are all kinds of people around are willing to help. So you've got Gemma, and we've got Georgia and Ida and a ton of other ladies out there who are going to help guide us, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to do this. And I'm not, I'm not claiming there's not going to be enough food. We're going to be abundant in every way because we're going to make it happen because we're creator beings. So I'm claiming that for all of us. And I'm not trying to override what you said. I'm just simply saying that has never been a fear of mine, ever. I do not see it. There's a lot of people, and I respect everybody's own, you know, just like I had a guest on, I don't know, a couple months, I don't know, like a month and a half ago, who proceeded to say that taking the jab was going to be a very necessary thing in the future. At some point, you'll have to take some type of jab in order to be able to be sustaining so that our DNA mutates properly and so forth. And I'm thinking, are you out of your mind? I said, I absolutely do not agree with that. And she's got, you know, a bunch of devotees and whatever. And I'm not here to talk poorly, not mentioning names, but she defriended me, which is fine. You know, one thing I'm not is a go along to get along kind of gal in any way. If I love you, I tell you I love you. And I support everybody and I want good things for everybody. But yeah, I think we need to, we need to think for ourselves. We need to be able to make conscious decisions for ourselves. I've never been a big meditator like you ladies. I mean, I'm not there yet, but I do have moments of silence. Dance, cleaning is like meditating for me. I don't think about nothing else but the cleaning. And
about what works for you.
Yes, that's right. And going on long walks at the park is very meditative for me, you know. So yeah, anyways, I love each and every one of y'all, and I hope you know that. I say it, and if I say it, I mean it, and I care deeply. And Gemma and all of you, I've looked up to each one of you for so long. You know, I have, and I'm so excited to have y'all here.
I love you too, Ida.
Thank you,
Georgia.
Georgia.
What do you? Can you share how you're feeling about everything?
What? Who are you talking to?
You, Georgia.
Me? Oh, sorry.
Especially when you said something really important before as well about how they're linking anger and fear and guilt.
Guilt and fear. Yeah.
So kind of weaponized morality. I feel you
Wow.
have.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
know, when
that's
you
a great, yeah.
I look up, I'm always a big picture person. I'm always looking at the big picture. That's kind of where my space is in my role here. And I'm always looking around and going, what needs attention? What needs attention? And as Salini was saying, you know, about the jabs, you know, my children were harmed, and that woke me up years ago and got me talking about it. And then all of a sudden this time we're in comes up and we're facing the same thing, but I keep seeing where something needs to be addressed, and it's so clear out there how hard they're trying to hold down our frequencies with guilt and fear. The uh, you know, shaming people that don't go along with the narrative, and it's working really well. And I feel this urge, this inner urge to go out there and counteract it all continually. I'm continually reminding people to tap back into themselves. But the somatic experience you were talking about, Gemma, that in, I don't know if a lot of us consciously realize how difficult it is sometimes to fully embrace the physical here. A lot of us have memories of somewhere else that wasn't like this. We volunteered to come here. Many of us volunteered to come here at this time for this amazing thing that's taking place on this planet. And it doesn't feel good sometimes to be down here in this density, and you want to leave. You don't want to be around here, and you try to step out in all kinds of different ways, and until you recognize what you're doing and realize you're trying to avoid embodying your physical again. And there are rituals and things around that specific thing that are really helpful. There's so many tools that we have: the toning, the sound, that all the things that I was talking about. So many things are helpful, and different ones resonate with different people, but they all work. And the nature is the biggest go-to, I think, for everybody. But the rituals, they don't have to be specific rituals. Make up your own. Go out there and sit by a tree and light a candle and write down the things that you want to purge, or the things that you want to embrace. Burn the paper, and you know, ask for blessings. There's so many things you can do. It's the intention behind it that's important. I work on it, and I think we all do here. I work on a very shamanic level as well. That's my comfort zone. It's who I am, and nature, and I incorporate that in everything I do. But um, I took a trip to Maui and spent 10 days about 3 years ago working with another healer there, going around and doing ritual blessings on the land and swimming in the waters. And there's a spot there that's shaped like a womb, and we swam in the waters, and the divine feminine, that is what's coming in here. Salini's absolutely right about that. And the whole 10 days was about embodying, getting back into my body, and where I could firmly ground again. And sometimes I still slip out. You know, we're going through our own almost double trauma here, a double PTSD. PTSD from the awakening, and then from the ones that are awake having to go through the trauma of isolation and cutting off from our families, our friends. Like Salini said, I have one daughter who's not jabbed, and one daughter who is, and I know that it's painful for me, but it's also her journey, and I have to honor that. You know, so I talk to the cells in my body when sometimes I'll lay there, and Ida, sometimes my mind's going too fast to sit and meditate like that all the time. Moving meditation works too, but sometimes I sit and I talk to the cells in my body, and I tell them I love them, and I thank them. I thank my body for what it does for me, and I ask for forgiveness for anything I've done that might have not been in the best interest of my physical form. But those things it's really important, that the embodiment of that. and this right now. It has to start there, along with the fear and the guilt. You've got to get yourself centered, and that's how you do it. You got to get back in your body.
Can I share?
Sure.
Okay, so on 222222, I decided to take some magic mushrooms. And I was by myself and I laid in here and I was going to microdose. You know, I haven't done it in like, I don't know, a couple of years. I don't make it my business. When I do it, I set intention and there's a reason for it. I don't mess around. And the last time I did it, we did a women's circle and we bought a bunch of fruit and everybody got to cut the fruit up. So we all put our hands and our energy into the fruit and then we, you know, mixed them in there with the fruit and made little drinks so that everybody had their drink at the same time and whatever. And it was a great thing. And I was able to cry and purge a little bit. But this time, I mean, first off, I took a little bit and I'm walking around. I'm like this, like shaking my hands, like, oh my God, right? There's like, Ida, what the hell are you telling everybody? I love her. Anyways, but I laid on the couch and, you know, once first there was so much purging that was being done and I wasn't really like hallucinating. It was more a body thing than like I went out and, you know, seeing visuals and all that. I didn't see much of that. It was more of a body thing, but I realized how much my nervous system was off the chart. I mean, just out of whack. Because I too had I had a Kundalini activation. Then I turned around and took a flu shot, like, I don't know, months after it, and knew I shouldn't, but did it. I was under mind control. I believe I was. I mean, they, you know, after you're asked 20 times, take your flu shot today, and I say no 1,000 times, and one day I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't know what the hell I was thinking that day. James Bartley said to me, Ida, they test on us, on, you know, people that have been using super soldier programs, my lab, whatever. I don't know if that's the truth, but I trust him because he's a smart man. But anyways, I feel like I realized how, so I'm hoping that some healing took place from having doing it. But I laid here. This is my whole point in telling y'all, is I was in fetal position and I'm looking at pictures of my mom, my dad, and, you know, just everything. And I was able to release the need to know anymore, if that makes sense. I just, what I need to know, it'll come to me. I don't, because of everything I experienced and things that happened throughout my life and, you know, just wanting answers. Of course you want answers. You're having freaking gin in your house and orbs coming in and military jumping out, taking pictures. You want answers. And I noticed laying that way, and I'm laying on the couch right here. I realized that I've been in that position inside for my whole life.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Trauma. It's trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Trauma, the trauma pose.
Yeah.
it is.
So that was a huge realization. And I have been nurturing myself since, just realizing, you know what, you don't have to be you know, as outgoing, you know, as outgoing as I seem to be and confident and all these things, there's still that little girl inside that I've been wanting to heal for so long that I think I finally have gotten to a point where I'm okay to let it go now, that I don't need to, you know, if that makes sense. I don't know, but
Yeah, it absolutely. Trauma. I'm sitting here thinking of ways, you know, as we move forward through this whole thing to deal with all the trauma that's out there that we're going to be dealing with. Salini, you're dealing with some of the deepest trauma that's going to be coming up. And for some reason, I don't know why, there was a period of about 4 or 5 years there where I kept getting clients who were showing up coming from satanic ritual abuse survivors, just showing up out of nowhere, and they were coming in from everywhere. It was unbelievable. And I was wondering why. What is it about this that that keeps showing up for me? And I felt like I was there to lend support and a mouthpiece, basically, to help in any way I could. You know, I'm really I'm still really drawn to that. For some reason, it's an internal thing in me, and I'm not quite sure where to go with it exactly. But I know I started to have so many experiences of realizing how prevalent it is. It's everywhere. And I've seen it. I'm starting to recognize it walking around downtown.
It is everywhere.
Very place.
Can I speak to that, because it's my
Yeah.
area of expertise? So I am a strong trauma healer, and when I broke my program, you know, I was an MK Ultra beta sex slave, sex kitten, as well as they were programming my mind to be a supercomputer because I had a really high IQ. So fortunately, my father wasn't very high up in the Illuminati, so he kind of fell away, and it ended when I graduated from high school. But, you know, I went through a lot of years of thinking that everything was okay, but I was really programmed. And then becoming a Reiki master is what broke my programming. And then I had memories, unbelievable memories. And then I broke through, and I remembered what I had been going through. And it was at that time that the universe began bringing people. I'm just replying to what you're saying, Georgia. People started coming to me with trauma. And then I realized that, you know, because I asked God I said, let me stay on the planet. I had a near-death experience. I had viral meningitis after I had all my memories. I nearly died because I'm probably an adrenochrome survivor. And I left my body and went up, and I asked God to put me back down. I said, I'm not done. I got kids to raise, and I will devote my life to healing. And I know that you can heal this regardless of what they say. I know you can heal it, and I claim it. So God put me back in my body, and I said, and if you let me live, I will devote my life to saving as many lives as possible. And just like that, I started getting all these trauma survivors, you know, and one of the trauma survivors that came to me was JFK's assassin. And so I deprogrammed him, and he told me the whole story. And that's when I realized that I could deprogram MK Ultras. And ever since then, I've had tons of MK Ultras coming to me. And just so you know, there were at least 50 million Americans were MK Ultra in the United States during the 50s and the 60s. Then on top of that, we have the collective MK Ultra programming, which the term that people are now calling it is mass formation psychosis. But I coined the term about 30 years ago in my book. Well, my book came out in 2015, but I wrote it all the way back. I started writing it in the 80s. I call it the traumatic trance, because what's really happening is that they've been layering trauma upon us decade after decade after decade. And that then breaks down your reality. And then they program in their reality through the lily wave in the TV. So every TV and movie has the lily wave in it, which reduces your resistance to being programmed. And so people are all programmed, and you can see it right now. Look at how people actually believe the narrative of COVID. People actually believe the narrative of the Ukraine. Oh, Putin's evil and he's invaded the Ukraine. Please. I mean, he's destroying the, you know what, the bad guys. And he's been saying he was going to do that for a long time. So people are primed and ready for the traumatic trance because they're too traumatized to see the truth. Because if they see the truth, they're going to experience their own trauma. And this is the experience I have with all of my clients, is that once they face their own trauma, they get violently ill and they go through all kinds of freaky, can't handle it. And this is why I never push anybody too far, too fast. And this is going to happen on a global scale, everyone. If anybody who's listening right now, we're going to have a global traumatic breakthrough. And the trance is going to break and everybody's going to freak out. And they're going to come into people like us. And
know.
I'm ready for it. I'm totally ready for it. So I'm really glad you brought that up, because I don't think it's just a mass formation psychosis. I
No.
always tell people it's a trauma trance.
Yeah.
Because when I broke my programming, I saw how traumatized I was, to the extent where I was like, the Stockholm syndrome. It's like, I'll do whatever you want me to do. And you want me to sleep with a bunch of men, fine. I didn't, but whatever you want me to do, just don't torture me anymore. So, the trauma goes hand in hand with the programming. And when I got programmed, they traumatize you, they rape you, and then they program you with a mental program. They do it together, because it's the trauma that stops you from your true self and separates you from the truth and from God. And that's how they get us. So I have it all written in my book, even to the extent of where it is in your brainstem, and where they've managed to secure your soul and your energetic energy field. They have it in the amygdala. They're targeting the amygdala. And so what has to happen is enough love and light, which is now happening right now, the divine feminine and the waves of awakening, to make it safe to break your trauma trance. It hasn't been safe. When I really see, I'm getting chills as I'm saying it, because I did not feel safe enough on this planet to allow myself to come out of my trance. I just now bought a house. I've been here 2 months. This is the safest I've ever felt in my life. And so more new memories will undoubtedly begin to come. But I had already broken the trance many years ago. So what I'm saying is that we're all being prepared right now for this moment in time, which is coming in the next 2 months, when our trauma trance is broken, because they're going to tell us the truth. The EBS is coming, all that stuff is coming. The children are going to come out of the dumbs. They're going to tell us what they've been going through. Thousands of children are going to come forward and testify. Spirit has shown me that. And that's when everybody's going to go through this collective trauma healing thing. So we all need to be trained and ready for that. And I actually wasn't going to talk about that, but I'm so glad you brought that up, Georgia. What I wanted to say to everybody is that the Holy Spirit gave this to me, and I want to share it with everybody. This is a frequency for healing COVID and for the vax damage. I received this last year from the Holy Spirit when I got CV COVID from somebody on an airplane, a spike proteins. I got really sick after I got off the airplane. And then I received a message saying, we see that you got contaminated by the spike protein, and we're sending you a frequency through the quantum field, and we're going to send it a mandala. And so this person facilitated it. He sent me this mandala, and I got well just like that. And then I received a message from the universe to send this to everybody in the world. So it's on my website for free. And as soon as I announced this on Charlie Ward, my website was crashed with like 10 million people tried to get it. So I don't know if you can see it, but this is it's a sacred frequency. And I've been contacted since then by Russian scientists who said they tested it in their lab and it works. And I have 20 more. Here's another one. Here's another one. This one is for purification, I think. I'm not sure, but I have one for trauma. I have one.
I'd love to get a copy of that.
Yes. So can I ask you, Salini, so when somebody gets the mandala, what do they do in order to use it?
You put your food in, you just put I put it everywhere. I have it in the kitchen here. I take it with me. I put it on the wall. You set your food on it and your drinks on it, and it deprograms everything that's toxic, and it works. But more than that, you see, like right now, I've already sent all of you the frequency for decontaminating, neutralizing your auras. All I have to do is think about each one of you and see your faces, and I send it to you. So you've received it. Now I'm going to send you this. If you'll give Ida your emails, and Ida send them to me, I will send you a copy that explains it. It's a text and this. Or you can go to my website, salini.love. The contamination frequency is in the shop, and it's free. You just have to click all the way to checkout, and then there's 2 downloads there. So I can't, don't have your whole audience email me because I can't do it. I don't want to give my email out, but I've had literally millions of people trying to get this frequency because it's working. And this is why they're trying to block me all over.
So can I
social
pay it
media.
forward to other people from you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, you guys, and this is what you
I
need to
would be
know.
more than glad to say this is a gift from Salini and you could visit.
It's,
But I'm
it's
going to
a,
go and get
it's
a
a gift
print
from the
of it.
Holy Spirit.
Yes.
I'm just the
You're so
messenger.
amazing.
And
Yeah.
Gemma was talking about this. I don't know exactly now. I'm trying to remember what it was that you said, but that I said it in the quantum field. Like you said something about the quantum field. When I think about you, Gemma and Georgia and Ida, if I think about you and with intention, I send you this, the words that go with this, then it's in your aura. Right now it's in your aura, Georgia. Right now it's in your aura, Gemma. And anybody who's listening who wants that, I will send it to you. And then all you need is to put this under your food. And you know what? You know what else? I've sent it out to all kinds of people, and I'm getting all these messages saying, oh, it works on this and that and this and that. People tell me that when they send this to people, they start waking up and they start questioning why they took the jab.
Yeah.
And just like that, 24 hours later. So God is here. God is helping us. The Holy Spirit is doing it.
Yes.
I use that geometric patterns a lot on different things, and I charge my drinking water up to the level of holy water. That's all I drink here in my house. But that one specific to the jab related everything going in it is a great tool to have. I really appreciate you sharing that.
And there's another one that's going to be vaccine damage frequency. And that one's going to be specifically targeted to people that have been injured with this.
Wow. Yeah, that's great.
So, yeah. So, I mean, the technology is here. It's quantum. It's from heaven. They've been waiting, haven't they, Gemma? All the angels and the divine beings on the other side. See, it makes me want to cry. They're just waiting for this moment, for this freedom to come so that we can
I feel them. I think we all feel
claim it.
I love you ladies so much. I get so choked up. I don't want to start crying right now. I'm so grateful for this. I just got a blast of energy.
Yeah.
I love you so much. Thank you so much.
No, we're all doing our part. It's a blessing. I'm so thankful for all the people I'm on this journey with. None of us could make it without each other.
That's right.
What a ride. What a
all
ride.
of you in your own ways have been so supportive to me. And I just want you to know that I see you and I thank you and I appreciate you. You guys have watched me go through my whole journey, basically. I mean, for sure.
All going
Salini
through
said to
ours.
me the other day at the thing, she was like, Ida, I knew when you left Maryland that you were going to get better.
Didn't I tell you too?
Yes. Yep. And I left and I went through one attack since then. And I know exactly who did that. And, it's okay. I'm all right with it because he's got to deal with his own stuff. But it was that last attack that I realized how powerful I am, because I got up and said, get your hands off me, mother effer. Literally, I had enough.
Well, we're all powerful. They don't want the thing.
Well, they want to pull it. They pull it in the astral. They think that, and it's like once you know your power, you don't walk around like, oh, you're whatever. You're it's a humbling experience. You don't but don't do that, because I will exert myself. You know what I mean? We have a right to protect ourselves, of course. And
that is what empowerment is all about. We are
that's right.
very, very powerful. We don't need anybody else. Really, we could do it all ourselves if we knew, but humanity's trust is severely broken, and it's about to be broken a whole lot worse. And when that happens,
you just said it, Georgia.
Help them learn how to get that trust back so that they can feel safe. You have to feel safe in this world.
Well, I for a long time, and I'm just coming out of it, I was very angry at God, at Jesus, at all the, I've been taught that Jesus was my Lord and Savior, and And no way was I being saved with what I was going through. Nobody was coming to rescue me or save me. It's just that simple. And I know that for a fact.
We're our own
But-
saviors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
have
thing
to,
with sovereignty,
I'm not saying we don't get divine intervention and assistance. Absolutely. But we are, in order to go through the initiation or go through, realizing self-actualization, realizing what we're capable of as divine beings and being responsible with the power that we're given, not to dominate or power over others, but to say, hey, I'm able to assist you however I can in this moment, because I believe in spontaneity and I believe in synchronicity. In this moment, right here, right now, we are safe. We are coming together and in our heart cohesion, if that's the right way to say it, where we are all in agreement in this time and space together on this show to share support to those that are listening, that they are supported, that you are loved, that you have 3 women here that all have their own platforms where you can, or websites or services that you can reach out and get real help. And that have got
Yeah.
that are learned, have the wisdom and the expertise, and because self-mastery, you have to go through some stuff. You don't just get to, you don't get to go from 1st grade to 10th grade without going through some stuff in between. And I will say, and I'll be quiet, I'll retract after this. By the way, I have tons of tools that I use, and they work. And I have Michael Lee Hill's necklace here, and I'm giving him a little shout out because I do love him.
I love his crystal disc. I've got his crystal disc.
Yeah, this is
Great.
the Metatron with the quartz crystal, and then I have this 8
Yep.
cornet star, and then I have other tools, but I haven't been using these lately because I've gotten to a point where I can kind of just set an intention and be still for a moment and pull in if I feel any, but they're still useful, of course. I use them on other people to balance them and stuff. But anyways, I love you guys. I love you ladies so much. I'm so happy to have you. Thank you.
Well, thank
Gemma,
you.
thank you,
I'm gonna have to get going. I
Yeah.
know there's a call coming that I have to
I
take. But I
understand.
think Gemma was gonna say something. Did you want to say something before I go, Gemma?
Salini, thank you for being here with us. It's been amazing to meet you and hear, and for you to share all of your amazing, beautiful tools and abilities and wisdom. And I just wanted to mention, Ida, about sovereignty. You're talking about, we're all talking about, but we haven't mentioned that word sovereignty, of being sovereign of our own domain, of our energy fields. And this is why and I know I refer to mass formation psychosis just because I feel to be a bridge between people who are just awakening now and who are just moving into their big dark night passage, because they might not have heard of Salini, your way of explaining it, trance, or of beautiful Kathy O'Brien with transformation, or others that will take a while perhaps for them to get to, or some are getting there really quick. But I find for me, if I can bring something out of the mainstream and into this sort of luminous period where people don't quite know where they sit, but if they can grab something that's still out of their old world and gives a sense of solidity, then they can relate to the next step, which is going into the quantum field more and all of that. But I just felt to say about sovereignty is that all of the governments and all of the controllers and whoever around the world have no place when we generate bliss.
Mhm.
It's a technology that all of our beautiful ones talk about, that if we can generate bliss and have the kundalini rising and actually have that bliss charged love in our heart and fields, then we're immune. That is the best immunity. We're immune from the old synthesized matrix. And so to stop people having bliss, you have to keep them in fear all the time. But if anyone can feel to create bliss and joy in their life every day, each day, in the smallest of ways, by just observing a bird or feeling the heart, or just that micro moment of bliss, is you pop out of the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's beautiful. And, you know, I think it's really important to let your listeners hear that, not to be afraid of the trauma that's coming, and that underneath it is the bliss and the power. And that in order to, sometimes we have to break down to break through. And the shattering that I experienced of my body, mind, and spirit, which completely was shattered. I mean, I was just a piece of junk on the floor, made it possible for my true self to emerge. So don't fear the process of trauma and going through this tunnel, this scary tunnel, whatever, even a sickness. I mean, I was really sick. I've had breast cancer, all kinds of stuff that I had to heal myself. But each of those were parts of the trauma that I retrieved those soul parts and brought them back and made myself whole. So the shattering is a gift that we're going through. We're shattering the old matrix and we're going into the new Aquarian age. And don't be afraid to let that soul shine out. Like Gemma says, the bliss is coming after the shattering.
We won't be given more than we can't handle.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. If anyone's interested, Ida, tell them to go to salini.love to get the frequency. And also, I just want to announce that every Sunday I do a Reiki Healing Circle live on Zoom. And up until this week, I was starting out on YouTube and then going to a live Zoom. But from now on, I got to go from the live stream on my website because I'm blocked. And it's 2 hours, it's free, and everybody gets a free healing. So everybody's welcome. It's 8 p.m. Eastern time in Sunday nights.
I'll check it out in your book as well. I'd like to get your book.
Yeah. All right, that'd be great. Thank you. Yes, it's on Amazon.
So we're gonna make sure all your stuff is in the comment section when it's uploaded to YouTube, and I'll send it to you. So if you wanna put it on your YouTube.
I can't post anywhere now. I'm for another month anyway. They won't let me. They're not going to let me. That's what they've already told me. I have.
Do you have any platform, Salini?
I have everything. I mean, I'm going to have to just go to my website and do everything live there. I have Rumble too, but nobody goes and listens to Rumble. So I have YouTube, Gab, what's the other one? YouTube. And I'm a regular on Spiritually Raw. I don't know if any of you have ever watched Spiritually Raw. I do a show with them about once a week. And so they have a whole catalog of my shows. You can watch them. That's probably where you can see me until I can break through the logjam of censorship.
Yeah, just a little longer.
Yeah, not much longer.
You're doing, I mean, I've been listening to you and following you and listening to you for years. All of you ladies. I mean, I have
a YouTube channel, Gemma, so you can go there. And it's just only been a couple of days ago. I just have a 2-week suspension, so I'll be back live again. But I can't talk about anything that's controversial. This time it was a spiritual event that they blocked. I was surprised. So
you're just powerful. They don't want powerful. I haven't been bothered too much. I mean, you know, I don't know why, but I mean, I speak to everything that I don't have a following like you do too.
That's why I got a message from Facebook saying, because you have so many followers, we have to put you on Facebook Protect because we have to protect your followers. Well, what that means is I have to submit identification to the FBI. That's what I have to do. And you know what? They already have a file on me because my brother, my family members are all in the CIA and the FBI. So I don't know that it's going to be a problem, really. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm not afraid. You know, they're just going to get love. What are they concerned about? You know, I'm just going to love them to pieces. So, don't
Believe
be
it or
afraid
not, a lot
to
of people are seriously afraid of love. People
And
don't
they
know how
are
to
afraid
take
of
me because I'm so, but I am, I be love in everything I do. And when I'm not love, I'm not love. It's because you're acting like an idiot and I need to walk away. Right? Seriously. And I'll still
Okay,
love
I'm
you.
gonna
Yeah.
check out here,
Yep.
folks. So
Thank
it's
you,
really wonderful
Salini.
to
Thank you for
meet
joining
you
us.
Thank
all.
you.
And
Namaste.
I'll reach out because I want to
Thank
have you
you.
come on again. Yep.
Oh, yeah,
I
that'd
love
be
you.
great.
Yep.
It's really
Yeah.
great to meet you two
You
ladies. I hope
too.
to see you
Meet you,
again.
Salini. Thank you.
Very good.
All right.
you.
Om Namah Shivaya to everyone.
Blessing.
Thank
Mhm.
you. She's amazing. So are you two. Y'all are awesome.
Yeah,
A
it's
lot going
interesting.
on.
You know,
Yeah.
before we finish, this ends well. Everyone, it's
Yeah.
it's such a dark night passage, but it is transitionary and temporary, and so that's why cultivating the bliss, is important now, not just before we make the breakthrough. It's the reason that we will make the breakthrough and have the
Yeah.
breakdown to get the breakthrough is enough people still doing the beautiful things with nature and gardens and creating art and laughing and music and song and so I mean, we're all so positive about how this goes really, really well, where we do have so much abundance of food, and there may be shortages in this area or this arena, or some people have chosen to incarnate where they experience more of one thing or the other, but ultimately and not very long away is this really beautiful synthesis of all of the most wonderful technologies, and I don't mean artificial intelligence for us, because I'm not advocating the transhumanism route, but the technologies that bring in the abundance flow that enable everyone to have more leisure time and to have really organic food and all of those things. I just feel to end on this note of
I absolutely agree with you, Gemma. Thank you for bringing that up, because I wasn't trying to override what Salini was saying. I was just, I listened to other people for years and I never bought into some of the things that was being shared, but I finally got to a point where it's like, I'm not going to even allow it I don't want to hear it anymore. It's just not true for me.
we have to
Oh,
focus
we got to watch out, it's getting ready to, whatever. And it's just like, I'm not walking around in fear, worrying about anything. I'm going to do every day, put my best foot forward, extend and be charitable when I can, help however I can, do what I can to help be assistance. And that's it. I'm not going to walk around in fear. I don't fear death. I've crossed over, come back. I don't fear leaving the body at all. So
Yes,
I just don't walk in that light.
breaking through that fear barrier. Georgia, how do you feel about our wonderful future?
Well, I work with a lot of people around here that are really in financial straits, true financial struggles. Some have health issues, but they're worried about that, and I don't blame them. And I help where I can. We all have to do that, but I tell them, just get up a little extra food for you. It'd be a smart thing to do anyway. You don't have to wait till for the world to blow up. Just get a few things. It's easy enough to do. If nothing else, get a bag of dried rice and some dried beans. That'd last you a long time.
Well, I still have the ones I bought 2 years ago that they took. I'm being
Exactly.
facetious. The
And
point
I
is
just go
I
in.
have those things and I do buy enough to share with others. I'll get a couple extra bags of beans, a
That's
couple
what
extra
I
bags
do.
of rice. Yeah.
And I check on my elderly neighbors. If they
So do
need
I.
something, I
That's right.
take something over there. We have to
Yep.
watch out for each other.
I
And
do it.
then you
Yep.
have to let it go and know that it's going to turn out perfectly. That's really
That's right,
it's your
Georgia.
mind that creates. You can't live and think in lack. Gemma, you've been a great guidepost for me. She can tap into bliss, and I look at her and go, I want what she's having, because she makes it look so easy, and it's not always easy. but it's absolutely true. And the awe and the wonder, wherever you can find awe and wonder, I find it outside. I go and look at a tree that I think is absolutely gorgeous, that's changing its leaves or whatever, and I'm in awe at that moment. When you're in awe, you can't be at one end of the spectrum and the other at the same time. You're either high in frequency or you're down here in fear and worry and guilt. So, we are the controllers of our mind, and it really is. You take it you eat an elephant a spoonful at a time. You take
Well,
one
I think that's,
spoonful.
yeah. Georgia, just because my mind's going, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you got my
Okay,
mind
no.
thinking. It's like, I used to think that, there was something noble about struggling with other people, right? Like, okay, I'll struggle with you and we'll do this and we got, and I realize that everybody is capable of pulling themselves up out of. Now we know that people that are going through severe trauma and this and that may have a little bit of a tougher time, but and I would be willing to help them. But I'm at the point where no longer, like, I used to think or want to save people or save them from
Yeah.
themselves, or at least help them where they could help themselves. And I put everybody and everything before myself. I mean, being the youngest at 12 and being Arabic, we and women. I mean, we're taught to be nurturers and to put everybody else, sit down and eat your meal last. You make sure everybody else is fed first. And it's like, for once, I'm not, this is where what you mentioned about feeling guilty. I don't have to feel guilty that I don't want to give my bed up for my sister when she comes to visit anymore, which isn't happening at this point because, we had some differences, or I don't have to feel guilty that I don't want to, do something. Like, I'm learning how to put myself first, but not in a selfish way, in a self-honoring way, loving myself first for the first time in my life. Like, what
Good for
I
you.
want matters to me now. I used to think that it was selfish if I thought about myself before other people. Like, I didn't want to be known for that. I didn't want people to see me in that light. I'm not a selfish person. I overgive. Now I'm learning that too has been toxic, and I
That-
don't do it anymore. I mean,
That's
I
one of the
still love
first
it. Yeah,
lessons in healing that you learn is you don't heal anybody. You empower them to heal themselves. You're a
right.
facilitator.
Mhm.
But when many of us are empaths and we feel the pain around us when somebody's struggling, but it's not our responsibility to fix somebody or heal somebody. It's their responsibility to step in. And I think all of us have been through exactly what you're talking about at some point in time. And then you finally realize that that's not going to empower them. But when you can see somebody turn around, when you've empowered them and they've seen themselves get through something, I can't tell you how many times I've had people say, if I let go of, and start open up my heart to my woundings, I'm afraid I'll never put myself back together again. And I've never seen that happen once, ever, that they couldn't do it. You'd be
Right.
surprised what I don't think we're given more than we can handle. And if we feel like we're given too much at one time, ask in your meditations, ask your higher self, say, dial it back a little bit. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed right now. And it's amazing. It happens. It will
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
I've even gone into meditation in deep, deep emotional pain where I felt like I was curled up in a fetal position in my mind and asked for it to be lifted so that I could get clarity on what I was facing. And I was shocked. It happened. It happened more than once to me. I woke up and the pain was gone and I saw with clarity and I was able to make my decision. You have to advocate for yourself in a higher realm too, and with your higher self. So it's really important to keep that in mind.
Yes, absolutely. You have to ask and intend.
Yeah. Sometimes you
I
got to ask.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
free will out there, the law of free will in the universe, and you have to ask.
And
Well,
right
I
now,
found myself getting, I'm sorry, Gemma, please go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say it's a daily, not just a daily, but it could be every hour or every half hour or every 10 minutes or every minute recalibration right now to come back to love and come back to center,
Yeah.
because the triggers and the things that can wobble us are more pronounced than ever in our lifetimes, even though we've all been through major traumas, which we didn't talk about um, as Salini did. But the reason that we're all together is that we've all been through major trauma and near-death experience. Part of the reason to be able to bring this wisdom through. So knowing how to heal ourselves from that, and then now coming and being able to hold frequency while we see this playing out all around us. But we still have to recalibrate, recenter, renew, regenerate, rejuvenate, all the reads, reset.
Remember
Remember who we are is the big one. Because, oh my goodness, did I really sign up for this show?
Yeah, right. Well,
I
my
used to
thing
end my
is,
blogs that way. I used to end my blogs with get curious and remember, because those were the key things for me to spark people into moving forward. What were you going to say, Ida?
I was going to say that, okay, so I had an experience at the salon today. I had one of the ladies, I trained to do microblading for eyebrows because I was thinking, okay, I want to learn something different, something that I can make a decent wage. And women with cancer that have lost their hair, whatever, I found every reason why I'm going to do this fabulous thing. And I got certified and I did, I had clients, but I just wasn't willing to practice. I mean, when you're dealing from, a young girl up to a 60, 70-year-old, that skin is different and their shape of their face and, my whatever. Long story short, I had 2 clients that I had to have the instructor redo their eyebrows because they were bleeders and they were pushing the pigment out. And I just said, this is it. I'm not doing it anymore. It's not, I thought I was going to enjoy it. I'm a mover worker. I'll scrub toilets. I'll write, I'll clean your house. I'll clean your feet. I'll massage you, but I'm not a it's just not my thing. Anyways, well, I was talking to Marcel. She was there, and I always, like to stand next to whoever it is, just so they feel comfortable with the instructor, because that's especially an older person, sometimes it can be a little scary getting tattooed, whatever. Long story short, Raina says to Marcel, well, are y'all related? And I said, no. I said, I love everybody. And I'm very loving and kind to everybody. I mean, the kids outside to the old lady walking down the street, everybody that comes in my energy field, it's just my nature. I've been that way since I was a little kid. My mom used to yell, I'd be at the other end of the grocery store when I was a kid, and I still tend to do that. But anyways, and I thought about it when she said that. She was like, yeah, it's really nice to be that. I said, well, what else are you going to be? You know, walk around being miserable and mean and nasty or cold or reserved? I mean, I get that everybody is not, so outspoken like I am, but my sister made a comment, and this is one of the reasons that there's been some distance between her and I. I've been this way my whole life. It's my nature. And when you say to me, oh, you're just looking for attention, and that is not who I am, by no means do I look for attention, but I am a very, affectionate person. It's my nature. And I love that about myself, Georgia. And I no longer will allow somebody, family, I don't care who it is, to tell me who I am. And
that's what I mean, Ida.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I see that in you. I've always seen that in you.
Oh, thank you, Georgia. Thank you. It's going to make me cry.
To be witness for who they are, because we are not what people are judging us all the time, dismissing us. We're getting, gobsmacked around all the time when you're a person out there speaking truth and trying to live in awareness and awakeness. And it's hard. we
Yeah.
need to witness each other. It's really important. I've
Thank
seen
you.
that
That
in you
means
for as long
so
as
much.
I know you. You know,
Thank
you've
you,
always been that
Georgia.
person. The
That
way you
means so
respond
much to me
people,
because, yeah.
you
And
know,
it's not, yeah. Thank you.
there
That
was a
means
guy
so much to me.
on Facebook the other day. I saw a guy on there. I think Gemma knows him too. John Bertoli. He's a weightlifter.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He wasn't
I
when
love
I met him. We met him up at James Gilliland's ranch. I don't know if you remember him, Gemma,
Yeah, I
but
do.
apparently doing major bodybuilding for
Yeah.
competition. And he had a picture up, and you know, I just happened to see it, and I thought, you know, some people might look at that and go, "Oh boy, he's so full of himself," you know, wasn't he? You know, but I realized he had trained really hard, really, really hard and dedicated for that. And you wrote something down there, Ida. I can't remember how you worded it, but you said something like, "Well done." I could see that you worked really hard. You did a great job or something. And he went, "Aw." But that
Yes.
wasn't like him. I could tell you hit him in that spot when you said that. He
And I
just
meant
wanted
every bit
to
of
be
it.
recognized for
Yes.
what he did, his
Yeah.
accomplishment.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're
Yeah.
good at that, you know, and I know how it makes people feel. You know, there's a lot of people that are snippy out there right now, and or you say hi and they're in a trance and they won't look at you, they won't acknowledge you. And I don't even get irritated. I think, who knows what happened to
That's
them
right.
today? Who knows what happened to that person you're passing?
And
Yeah.
that's what I say to a lot of the young girls in this area. Let me just tell you, Florida, there are patches of places where there are like witches. I guess that's what they're called. I don't know what they are. But there's like a lot of metaphysical stores. And I have this woman. Well, let me be quiet. Let me not do that on live air. But anyways, there's witches and so forth, and I am capable of a few things, right? And I don't believe in that, like, you know, doing spells on people and all that bullshit. Like, excuse my language, I don't like it. And there's one person that both the girls that got Reiki energetic healing done by this person both had car accidents. Like, there was just weird stuff that was happening. And I met her and tried to become friendly with her and realized quickly after being in her energy field, I'm dealing with something here that's not normal. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And so my point in saying all of this is, yes, you have to remember everybody is not dealing with, you know, people are dealing with different, maybe entity attachments, maybe trauma, maybe jealousies, envies, low vibrational stuff. And I just don't give it my energy anymore. I don't waste my time. I'm not, yeah,
That's
anymore.
part of mastery, what
Because-
we're all
because-
working for.
Yeah. And I hate to say this, you know, I said to my sister a few weeks, I was like, I don't have nothing else to give you. I have nothing else to give. Everything I recommend or suggest to you, you don't do any of it. And I get it. You know, I was like that. I remember my mother was like, Ida, you don't listen, when I was younger, because I was
Yeah.
too busy, you know, until, yeah. So nobody's
That's not your
required to listen to me,
responsibility.
but if you're good,
We're
that's
here
right.
to
That's what I
set
was
an
gonna say. If I'm
example,
gonna
live
invest
by
my time,
example.
well, Georgia, the thing is, like, if I call you every, you know, every time I talk to you and I'm telling you the same story over and over and over again, and I did do that for a while because I couldn't get past my own shit with all that crap that was going on, till I realized, hey, wait a minute, nothing's gonna change. You have to change, Ida. You have
Yeah.
to sit still with yourself and process this shit. Nobody can fix it for you. So now that I've learned that and been able to do it myself, it's like, it's frustrating for me because I want to help, but there's nothing I can do. Then I feel like the whole world on me from, you know, and I don't want that anymore. Okay.
No.
You may have to say something, Gemma.
Oh, yes, it's just, I have to go soon.
Yeah,
darling.
I'm gonna have
Okay.
to go
We won't
myself.
keep going.
And
Yeah.
You
Ida,
ladies
thank
are
you so
amazing.
much. And
Yeah.
and you know, we are all witnessing each other, as Georgia said, and it's an honor to see you and know you doing the work and in this really big initiation stage where you're coming into, we're all, but you've just expressed a lot about it. So I feel to say, I see you too, love, just this initiation phase of letting go of a lot of energetic attachments, family and friends, and because it will be prepared to feel a little bit lonely, but know that it's okay and that you're so connected to all of us around Mother Earth.
I'm so thankful.
And
Never really alone.
Yeah, you've got this, darling, and we're all with you. Georgia, I love you dearly as well. My
Love you.
Yeah. Thank
As
you, ladies, for
always.
coming on. Everybody that joined
Thank
us,
you,
thank
Ida.
you. Yes, I love you both so much. And in a few months, I'll be maybe reaching out. We'll come back on. We'll just let some things play out, see how things go, and in a few months,
months, God only knows what'll be happening.
That's right. But
Woo-hoo,
maybe in a
ride.
few months we'll have some really amazing. Not maybe, we're gonna have some freaking amazing things to talk about. That's what
We absolutely will. I'm excited.
I love you both bunches.
All right. Love you.
Have a blessing then. Bye.
All right, you guys.
All right.
Take care.
Bye bye.